Hello everyone. It's lovely to be with you again, wherever you may be at the moment. I wonder if any of you has been watching the David Attenborough Perfect Planet series. There was a wonderful bit last week when there were some ants who were in the Amazon, and the Amazon River was rising and rising and threatening to drown them all. But at the very last minute, all these ants linked legs and held themselves together in a great body tightly and formed a raft, so that instead of the water killing them all, this raft of ants floated on the water down the stream until somewhere where they could all unlock arms and get off onto dry land again. So instead of being a threat, because they all worked and held each other firmly together, the water was a real advantage to them. And I thought that was a fabulous picture of how, when people work together to help one another, threats and problems can be overcome. Each one helps the other one to be resilient. Because it works with people too, doesn't it? We can all support one another. Story coming up. I'm Nehemiah. I'm now Nehemiah. You have to imagine a beard and an interesting hat, I expect. Hi everybody, hello. I'm the cupbearer to the mighty King Artaxerxes, a long way from home. I was taken captive, you see, and now I have to work for him, and I have to taste his drinks to make sure that they're not poisoned. And if they are, that's the end of me, Nehemiah. It's a very important job, as you can imagine. One day, while I was working for the mighty King Artaxerxes, I heard an awful rumour, some news that back in Jerusalem, where I come from, the walls had been destroyed and the gates of the city had been burned, and they were unsafe and they were in a terrible state. But I was so far away, there was nothing I could do. I don't mind telling you, I sat down and I wept about the city of Jerusalem. And I prayed to God, to my God, whether, with his help, there might be something I could do about it. Couldn't see how. Next time I went in to bring the wine to the mighty King Artaxerxes, as usual, I bowed low and presented him with his wine. But he could see that I wasn't my usual smiling, gracious self. He said, "What's the matter, Nehemiah? I can tell something's wrong." It was not safe to look unhappy and reveal your emotions before the king. So I took a deep breath, gulped, said a quick prayer and said, "Almighty King, my people in Jerusalem are in danger. The walls of the city that kept them safe have been destroyed. I so long to go and help them. Would you give me leave to go there, mighty King? And perhaps take some timber so I could help to rebuild things, and a passport for safe travel, and some men?" Little thinking that the mighty Artaxerxes would say, "All right, Nehemiah, off you go." I couldn't do that on my own, but with God's help, the first hurdle had been overcome. So off I went, back the long way to Jerusalem. And at night time I went out on my donkey around the city to look at the city walls. And you know, there was so much rubble of those city walls all over the ground that even my donkey couldn't work his way around the city walls. This was too big a job for me. How could I do anything about it? But maybe with everyone else, we could do something. So I called everyone together and we arranged that different families would help to rebuild different bits of the wall. Some at the fountain gate, some at the dung gate, some at the horse gate, some at the valley gate, each one at their place. Maybe you would like to help us to build. We started building. Heave ho, up we go. Heave ho, up we go. We started rebuilding the walls. The people around who weren't part of this plan mocked us and said, "Oh, fat chance, you're never going to manage that. People have been trying for years." But we went on. Heave ho, up we go. Then the Babylonians, our enemies, began to get rather angry when they could see we were achieving something, and they mocked us seriously, and they said, "What do you think you're doing here? Don't be ridiculous, you'll never manage it. Even a fox trying to run over your wall would knock it down. It's so pathetic." Oh well, still we went on. Heave ho, up we go, and the wall was now getting much higher. But the next thing we heard was that the Babylonians had decided to get violent. They were threatening to come and attack us while we were building. Uh-oh, this was getting dangerous. So we arranged that half the people would do the building and the other half would have swords to defend themselves with. And even the builders had a dagger in one hand and a trowel in the other. So on we went. Heave ho, up we go. And the wall was getting higher and higher. And the people could do nothing against us, because even if they threatened us, I sent a man with a trumpet in the gaps in between the groups of people at the different gates, so that if there was danger, the man could toot his trumpet so that everyone would come and help. We worked together, and together we finished the wall. The wall that for years and years nobody had been able to rebuild. We did in 52 days. 52 days, that's under 2 months. Because we worked together to build that wall. And when it was finished, I, Nehemiah, gathered everybody inside, and we praised God for helping us, and we danced for joy, and we listened to the message of God for us safely inside there. And here's a picture of people dancing and celebrating because the walls of Jerusalem have been rebuilt. So you can read about that amazing story of Nehemiah in the Bible, just at the end of the Old Testament, of how they all worked together to rebuild those walls of Jerusalem. Now, what do you think it was? What was the difference that meant that this time, with Nehemiah's leadership, they did manage to rebuild the walls? What was the secret difference? You might like to pause the video for a moment and think about that, perhaps have a chat with someone about it. What was it in the way they did it that made the difference? Well, one secret ingredient was that they were working together, weren't they? They were like those ants, linking their legs together so that they were strong together. They were supporting one another. And I think that in these times that we're living through, where things are different and difficult for lots of people, it may well be that there are some who are needing some extra support from the people around them. I wonder if you know anybody who's, I don't know, feeling very confused or worried or finds it hard to do their work when they are at home or to enjoy school when their usual friends aren't there. If you can think of somebody like that, maybe you can think of some way that you can support them. You can help to make them strong. Maybe you could ring them or text them or let them know. Maybe you can help them in some way with their work. Or maybe that's you. Maybe you're feeling anxious or hating the way things are at the moment and you can't be with your friends in the normal way. In that case, ask for somebody else's strength. Ask for help so that they can hold you and help you to be strong. Because that's how we're all strong when we're working together. Like Nehemiah and his community, or like David Attenborough's lovely raft of ants. We're going to say a prayer together now, and why don't you take a minute, first of all, to think of somebody you want specially to have in your mind while we say a prayer. Either you or somebody else you can think of who maybe is finding times difficult, particularly at the moment. And then we're going to say this prayer all together, if you can see it. I'll hold it up as near as I can so that I hope you can see it. And let's all join in together in saying, Dear Lord, thank you for helping us. Help us to know when to ask for help. Help us to support those who need it so that we can be strong together. Amen. Hope you could see that. Now, normally at the end of an assembly, we would be singing a song together. So I'm going to have a go. You have to bear with me, and I hope you know this song so that you can sing loud enough to cover the sounds of me singing. It's got actions. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Are you ready, everyone? Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. I am not afraid, no, I am not dismayed, not me, for I'm walking in faith and victory. Come on and walk in faith and victory, for the Lord your God is with you. Do apologise to anybody who's musical and found that very painful, but do remember the story of Nehemiah and read about him and think about those ants too, supporting one another. Be strong this week, everyone. Bye-bye.